and welcome to the 2025 Vibroacoustic Therapy Masterclass. My name is Narissa, and today I have the pleasure of speaking with David Gibson. So where do we begin? I know that I don't know if I ever learned where vibroacoustic therapy came into your path. Can you tell me about that?
Well, let me tell you about the recording side because that's kind of where what led to it, really.
Okay,
I was a professional recording engineer and I worked with a lot of major groups. I worked with James Brown's band and the Doobie Brothers. In fact, James gave me a hug and said, "Bless you, child." So I've been blessed by the
perfect.
Godfather of Soul. Right? Right. And so I got some experience. And then one day, well, not one day, many days, I would get goosebumps and chills. Sometimes the room would turn purple when musicians were playing.
Hmm.
And I thought, how can we reproduce this magic at will? And that's when I added on the sound healing program because we had the whole recording program. Guy started in 1990 and
Wow.
we got really big. We had like seven recording studios and three buildings and 200 students a semester. It was huge. And we then I added on sound healing about 20 years ago. And then it's gotten really interesting to really look at exactly how sound and music are working physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. But also, it was one day I came up with this whole visual system that is my book, The Art of Mixing, where
Hmm.
I use bubbles to show different structures of mixes, and each sound is a sphere between the speakers.
Wow.
And volume is front to back, panning is left and right, frequency is up and down. And I wrote a book called The Art of Mixing that is the number one selling book in the world in audio recording for 20 years now. In fact, we just got a note today that version 4 is being released in January now.
Wonderful.
And so I then created a program that uses these bubbles to mix in full 3D virtual reality. So I've got it working a demo in the Oculus so you can actually see the sounds flashing
Oh,
as
great.
spheres. And you can reach up and grab them and mix in 3D. You can even
Wow.
walk into the middle of the mix and see the sounds all around you and in surround sound. So we're launching that app in about 6 months to a year for the recording industry
Very
so that
cool.
you'll be able to mix in full 3D. But then I realized we could actually, oh, I also wrote The Art of Producing, which is
Mhm.
the main book in the field for producing music. My books on recording and producing are the books used in colleges around the world to teach audio recording.
Very cool.
And then I realized that I could take this visual system and put it inside my body. So
Ooh.
we now have a version, a demo where you can look down in virtual reality with the Oculus. And if anybody wants to see it, I can send them the link to it. It's a free link. And
Okay.
then you can actually see sounds inside you. And ultimately, you can take any sound or frequency or music and drop it into different organs. And it will move it up and down on the sound table so you can feel it vibrating right where you're seeing it in the body. And at
Wow.
that point, I thought, I need to know what I'm doing. I could explode organs here,
Yeah.
right? And so that's when I really got into it. And then it was quite guy like 20 years ago that this guy calls up from Chicago, and he made sound lounges,
Mhm.
and they actually rotated. I've been forgetting the name. It's been so long right now,
Hmm.
and they actually rotate. And his father had really bad Parkinson's. So he asked me to do a study on Parkinson's. And
Okay.
we did a clinical study with a dozen patients on Parkinson's on his sound table.
Mhm.
And we were able to get rid of tremors uh, just about completely for everyone. And a lot of them got off their drugs, were able to sleep at night. It was really, really incredible.
Do you
And
remember
then
what the frequency you were using for that was?
was not a frequency, it's the Water of Life song
Ah,
that I
okay.
use. Well,
I
yeah,
know
so
it
it's
well. I
Yeah,
know it
it's got
will. Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's got all frequencies in it. And so then that guy in Chicago, as Next Neuro was the name of their company.
Right.
And then he died. And
Mm.
that's when I started creating my own sound lounges.